Hello, today we're looking for the least common multiple of two monomials. So the first thing we're doing is we're working on the prime factorization of the constants in each of these two terms. I know, for example, that 3 times 5 results in 15. Both 3 and 5 are prime numbers. So this would be my prime factorization for 15. In the case of 27, I know that 9 times 3 gives me 27. 3 is a prime number. However, in the case of 9, I can still find numbers that whenever I multiply them together result in 9. So that would be 3 times 3. And I finished my diagram. So now I have the prime factorization of the constants in these two terms. So I'm going to go ahead and write the corresponding multiplications horizontally. For 15, 3 times 5. And for 27, 3 times 3 times 3. Now, so far I have worked only with the constants. Let's go now to the variables, the letters, in this case letter x. Here, the x is raised to the power of 2. That means x times x. So I'm going to go ahead and factor that and put it right here. So basically what I did right here is that I factored this term that is right here. Now here there's only one x and it doesn't have any exponent. So that means it's raised to the first power. So it's only x one time. So this corresponds to this first term and all of this corresponds to the second term. What I'm doing now is that I'm looking for factors that are repeated in both multiplications, in the one for this term and in the one for this term. I notice, for example, that there's a 3 right here and a 3 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that little group where I have a 3 here and a 3 also here. I'm looking for anything else that they share or have in common. Here I notice that for one x that I have here, I have another x right there. So I'm going to go ahead, circle this little group. And these are the only groups that I can make because there's nothing else that the two expressions have in common. Now what I'm doing is the following. I'm going to look at each of the groups. In this first group, I have the 3 repeated 2 times. However, I'm writing a new multiplication statement where I only take one of the 3's in this group and write it down. I'm doing the same thing with the other group. I have a group where the x is repeated 2 times, but I take the x only 1 time and put it here. So I already work with all of this and I already work with all of this. Now, what do we do with the rest of the factors that are not inside any circles? We just place them directly in the multiplication statement. Now, the only thing left for us to do is to simplify this multiplication statement. So whenever you multiply 3 times 5 times 3 times 3, you should get 135. And we have the variable x repeated 2 times. X times x is basically saying x to the power of 2 because it's multiplied 2 times. So I go ahead and write the exponent right here. And this would be the least common multiple of the two monomials that we have right here. Good luck in your classwork.